and for allowing my company Brevvie to be part of your program. Knowing there are so many companies that want to participate with all of your young minds, I do feel blessed that Brevvie was chosen to be part of this program. And after working with students with such, fresh perspectives, my goal for this startup is to only hire students if possible. That's really kind of a goal of mine, and it is to give young brains like yours a chance to work and really get some good experience. So I'm thankful for everything that you guys have done. I am a startup company, but we are experiencing, growth in the circular economy, the shared economy, hopefully some rapid scalability in the near future. And anyone that wants a job, I'm happy to take you. If you believe in the shared economy, call me. So that's the good news. And there's no way to do that without your smart mind. So we had 4 young ladies. They did such a great job with social that I couldn't even dream of doing. I'm actually a CMO for a company, so which means a chief marketing officer, and they came up with stuff that blew my mind. So it's nice to have such a young look on life. And also, when you are hiring people who have been in the industry for a long time, doing the same thing over and over again, you find people that are complacent. The reason I love this program is because you're able to kind of find a new road, and people think about things differently. So just because somebody has done something for so long, you guys kind of look at something and say, well, why don't we do it this way? Because it's a little bit easier, and you guys are working smarter, not harder. And I appreciate that of your generation. So I got some really great social stuff. We did some market segmentations, great work from everybody on the Brevvie team. I am so thrilled and thankful to have all of you, and I appreciate your hard work. So thank you. I'm excited to see everything else.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Christine. So without further ado, we're going to hand it off to the Brevvie team to have their presentation.
Okay, so we are Team Brevvie. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, and so our team consisted of our mentor, Makana, and our host, Jocelyn. And then the rest of us included myself, Grace, Lydia, and Iman. So a little bit about Brevvie. Brevvie stands for Free Rent Everything, and it was founded in 2017 by co-founders Christine and Tim. And so Brevvie has set up lockers with products for people to rent across the West Coast in 6 locations. Products in the lockers are those that are too large to store or expensive to buy just for someone to rarely use. So example products are bread makers, ladders, coolers, tents, and suitcases. And so by renting these types of items, Brevvie is creating a sustainable way of living. And lastly, Brevvie is looking to expand their sustainability efforts by going into grocery stores, hotels, recreation centers, offices, and universities all throughout the US.
So our team project goals were to figure out a way to connect with contacts efficiently, gain a better insight into the share economy industry, create a more engaging social media presence, and develop a brand ambassador program. For connecting with contacts, we created a template to make facilitating a conversation on the phone more efficient. It allows Brevvie to get the email of a possible partner so that a Brevvie representative would be able to discuss more about the company at a later date. I'm not going to read it because there's a lot of words, but then the next slide would show what we would include in the email. Again, there's a lot of words, so I'm not going to go into it, but it kind of just summarizes what Brevvie is as a company and how we would plan to partner with them and make it benefit us and them.
So on to the target market. We segmented our target into 4 categories. The first one being people who are moving both in and out, constantly on the move. They're not wanting to lug these products from place to place. So renting is super convenient for them. Party throwers, typically this isn't something you're doing all the time, so you don't need this equipment constantly. You need it for a night or a day. So that's when renting is convenient for them, and that's why they're one of our targets. Spring cleaners, maybe people that clean deeply certain times of the year. They need that Dyson vacuum or a mop for these times that they really want to clean their apartments or houses. And adventurers, people that are actively outdoors, and they don't have storage room, so they need a kayak, nowhere to put it. They look to Brevvie. So that's kind of why these people are our target market. On to social media, specifically Instagram, which is a huge platform for brands nowadays. I think people just look to Instagram to kind of see what kind of company you are, if you're kind of with the times. People look at it for aesthetics, but also information. So here are a couple mock-ups that we have made. So yes, Brevvie is a service, but their service provides these products that we wanted to emphasize. So in our posts, we're emphasizing, for example, the first one is a sewing kit, a karaoke machine, and an ice cream machine. And then we wanted to have these candid, relatable kind of captions or taglines to make our consumers feel comfortable. So these are just a few examples. And then at the bottom, it actually says where you can rent it at brevvie.com. And then here's just a few more, same idea, but for different products. You can tell with the captions that they're kind of like fun, but they also still show the product either in use or what it looks like. Then on to Instagram stories, which are also important. We thought it would be a good idea if Brevvie promoted their new products on Instagram. On the example, we have a UE Boom, which is a speaker that a lot of millennials and Gen Z use, or like a JBL Flip. But we thought it would be cool if they promoted like new trendy products on their stories to kind of get people excited. And then when you swipe up, it obviously would take you to where you could exactly rent it. And then we also thought it would be cool to poll our followers to kind of keep them engaged and also let them know that Brevvie is like on social media and paying attention. And then also resharing stories of people tagging Brevvie, which would show that people are actually using this product and this service. So if people used the vacuum, just tagging Brevvie, and then Brevvie resharing it to show that people are enjoying it.
So for TikToks and Instagram Reels, we found that it's best used as a way to show Brevvie products in use and show how the service that Brevvie provides, the renting of the products, would be utilized. These videos are an example of what Brevvie would do with TikTok. For example, the first one shows a rented canoe, and the text gives us step-by-step on how to rent a product on Brevvie. It's quick, it's informative, and it's also fun to look at. This is kind of what we thought would be a good idea for Brevvie to put in their TikToks.
We also thought Twitter would be a great place for Brevvie to market themselves as well. Twitter is a great place to kind of share news on the share economy, the efforts that Brevvie is using for a more sustainable life, sharing press releases, and if they're featured in any articles, like the tweet we have on the left where our co-founder Christine was featured in a podcast, and just sharing the link in the bio. It's also a great place to share alerts and updates on any new products that are coming to the lockers, new locations. And like the tweet on the left, it kind of just like brings excitement to new product arrival and saying to like quickly rent it before somebody else does. And also, right now, especially with the pandemic, showing users like how Brevvie is keeping them safe and just tips and tricks on how to use Brevvie, like in case they go over their time, and like how to return it, and if something breaks, like what happens and what's the procedure as well. We also thought Brevvie could benefit from having a brand ambassador program, and those brand ambassadors would be, like Grace mentioned before, our target market would be millennial students, people moving in and out of apartments, and just in general, adventurers and digital nomads who value sustainability, secondhand community sharing, and may not have the storage to, store a kayak or, a tent for a party. And the incentives that we were thinking that Brevvie could offer these ambassadors would be 3 to free or discounted rentals a month, maybe discounted on their used products. And their goals would be generally to just advertise Brevvie on their social media, share how they're liking it, how they're living a more sustainable life, and kind of letting these brand ambassadors have the creative freedom of just sharing their genuine opinions on the company as well. And then we decided to also create a newsletter for Brevvie. So these newsletters would be emailed out every month to the residents that Brevvie is partnered with in an apartment building. So you can see the example on the left, just talking about new products that are in. And then right here, it's just listed. There can be pictures. Also have updates on the business and messages from Brevvie members like the co-founders or the CEOs and MEOs.
Another thing we thought was a good idea was to have Brevvie socials in the apartment complexes where Brevvie was already established, just so residents could get to know Brevvie as a company and get to know Brevvie's products. So the idea would be that Brevvie's products would be in use at the socials. And this is in a post-COVID environment, of course.
So just some things that we got from this externship. Personally, how to design relevant marketing content through various platforms, but specifically Instagram, and understanding how to analyze social media data, such as just looking at different demographics and knowing which platforms these different demographics are looking at and how to reach our different targets.
And for me, one of the takeaways I got was kind of like the logistics behind, setting up a way to reach out to potential partners and like outreach materials to kind of create these partnerships. And also how, a strong social media presence is how effective that can be, and like the use of brand ambassadors as well. And then I think I really learned how to effectively communicate with my team members and my mentor, especially this being remote and we can't be next to each other to work on things. Communication was definitely key. And then also I learned how to like strengthen my public speaking and writing skills through giving these like bi-weekly presentations and creating mock social media posts. And then also learn the importance of keeping up with social media trends to really attract the right audience.
I learned how important it is to effectively communicate with other businesses, and I learned how different forms of social media are better at engaging specific groups of people.
So overall, I think we all had a really good experience just learning the ins and outs of a startup. It actually was really cool knowing what goes into creating and maintaining a whole new business, and learning about the share economy. It was super interesting. And none of us had met each other in person, but it was really lovely to get to know these people over Zoom, and we worked really well remotely. So we had a really positive experience with Brevvie and the whole externship program. Thank you.